Hello, and welcome to this course on online freelancing. In this course, we're going to cover how to increase your revenue through freelance work. This course is divided into 3 modules. Module 1 covers choosing a service and developing skills. Module 2 covers acquiring assets and tools. And Module 3 covers using sites like Fiverr and Upwork. By the time this course is over, you'll know how to effectively offer freelance services. So, without further ado, let's dive into the first module. Okay guys, welcome to Module 1. In this module, our expert will be teaching you about choosing freelance services to offer and how to gain the necessary skills. So get ready to take some notes and let's jump right in.
So there are a ton of things that you can do right now to earn money as a freelancer, things that you already know how to do, as well as some things that you can learn very quickly and very easily. Now, it's a good idea to sit down with a notepad and a pen and brainstorm a little bit. We're going to be using, however, an article from Forbes, an excellent article that basically compiles all the possible freelancing tasks that you could possibly think of. There's 55 really good ones here. Some of them you already know how to do. Some of them require very little training or learning. Some of them are a little bit more technical, but in this day and age, you can actually learn these skills very easily, often for free or for a small fee. So let's have a look at number 1, social media marketing. Social media marketing is awesome. It is a hugely booming industry. Every company needs a social media marketer or someone who manages their social media posting. So let's go over here to Skillshare. This is the first academic website that we're going to be having a look at today. Skillshare is an enormous library, an e-campus of courses that you can take for a pretty low fee. And as you can see, you can get started for free here with a trial membership. Now let's go ahead and come over here to Browse on Skillshare. And let's come over here to Marketing. And let's see if we can find anything on Skillshare for social media marketing. What a coincidence! The first hit for marketing is in fact social media presence. There's a ton of stuff here. We've got content marketing over here. We've got social media for the creative entrepreneur. We've got over here social media freelancing, which is literally what we're looking into. So there's a ton of awesome courses here. You can see the time of the courses range from several minutes, 44 minutes, to an hour, to 5 hours over here. Lots of good stuff that you could do here. All you would have to do is create an account, log in, use the trial, and sit through one of these courses and see if it's something that resonates with you, or if it's an area that you feel comfortable offering services in. Now, we're not going to go through this entire list here. As you can see, there's plenty of things. You can offer blogging. You can offer interpreting if you know different languages and stuff. You can do ghostwriting. You can do stock photography. There's tons of stuff here. Let's settle on this one here, number 12, graphic design. That's another booming area where people always need graphics, especially for online businesses. Let's come over here to Envato Tuts. Okay, TUTS stands for tutorials. Now, Envato is actually a big marketplace, or originally was a big marketplace, where you could buy resources to use in creative marketplaces. And we're actually going to be having a look at that in Lesson 2. However, they also created a tutorial database, a tutorial library, sort of an e-campus. And what do you know? You can come on over here to design and illustration. There's plenty of things that they offer. They offer a ton of different stuff. Adobe After Effects training over here, Adobe InDesign, right? Illustrator, Photoshop for beginners. And that's probably the type of thing that we'll end up looking for. Let's click on Design and Illustration though. And let's see what they have to offer in that category. All right, so tons of great stuff for graphic design. Lots of tutorials here teaching how to do all sorts of cool things. You've got retro stuff here. You've got mock-ups here. Lots of great tutorials. You can come over here to courses and see what types of courses they have in their inventory. And as you can see, we've got plenty of courses here on design as well. Some of the stuff is very specific. I mean, some of the stuff is, typography. Some of it is how to create business cards. If we were looking to learn it from the ground up, we'd probably go with something like InDesign for Beginners, which is going to teach you how to use that software for graphics design. 2.5-hour course right there. Can't go wrong with Envato Tuts. Now let's come back to our list and have another look at some more popular ones. Right here we've got programming. Programming refers to everything from web design and development to creating apps, all sorts of good stuff. And in fact, the app market over on Android and iPhone and all that good stuff is really exploding as well. And people are always looking for freelance developers. Now, this is a little bit more technical. You probably wouldn't dive straight into creating mobile apps if you've never done anything like that. But if you already have some programming experience and you're specifically wanting to learn how to do Android development or programming, you can come over here to Udacity. Udacity also offers a ton of things in a ton of different categories. It's a little bit more on the professional side of things. You will find yourself paying higher end prices, maybe in the neighborhood of $200 to $400 for most of these courses. So it is a little bit pricey, but it's amazing what you can learn over here. You come over here to programming and development, look at all of these. Sure enough, there's Android Basics, Android Developer. Click on that. They call it a nano degree program, sort of a mini degree. It does, once again, cost a bit of money to get into these because these are sort of premium, high-tier courses, but you can learn a ton. You can download the syllabus here to preview what exactly you'll be learning. You can enroll, and right here it gives you an estimated time, in this case 6 months for completion at 10 hours per week. It's estimated. It doesn't necessarily have to take that long. And as you can see, this is a high-end and trusted e-learning platform and e-learning system because they're built in partnership with Google. So lots of high visibility there, and you know you're getting the absolute best and you're bang for your buck. Let's keep looking at other freelancing ideas. Travel consulting. If you've traveled a lot, maybe you could do that. Music writing and production if you're a musician. Online researching, editing for books, social media management. If you've ever been in sales, offer sales consulting. Let's see. Voice acting. This is a big one. There's sites like Fiverr.com that are just thriving on people who offer voiceovers and narrations for audiobooks, for explainer videos, that sort of thing. There's a lot of money in using your voice. Let's come over to Udemy.com this time. Udemy is basically an online university, and it's all stocked and supplied by normal everyday people who have skills and want to teach those skills and share them with people. So let's come over here to categories. Let's see if we could perhaps find something specific to audio narration. Actually, let's try the search bar here and let's type in Audition. Audition is Adobe's audio editing and recording platform. And as you can see, we have a ton of courses here teaching you how to use Adobe Audition. So if you have a good voice, and you're comfortable doing voiceovers, but you don't really understand the technical side of things as far as how to record and edit and optimize, you could sit through one of these courses. Beginner's Guide to Adobe, Adobe Audition Made Easy, Audio Production Course, Basics to Expert. As you can see, these vary in length. This one here is 13 and a half hours with 97 lectures. And the prices, not half bad, $12 for most of these. All right, Udemy, as well as all the other ones we've looked at so far, has a ton of different courses in a ton of different categories. You can come to any of these sites that we're looking at to learn pretty much any skill out there that you can offer as a freelancer. Let's have a look at another one here. Let's come on down, see if anything else jumps out. SEO services, those are always big, especially for local lately. So let's see what we can find for SEO. Let's come over here to lynda.com, which recently was actually acquired by LinkedIn. Those two companies have become one, so who knows how long the brand will remain lynda.com. It sounds like in the future you might be referring to this as LinkedIn Learning. But as you can see, they have a ton of courses. Just look at the numbers there, 600, 700, 1200, in a whole bunch of different categories. Let's head up here and let's search for SEO. And we've got a ton of results here. We've got SEO keyword strategy with Matt Bailey, 4 hours and 21 minutes. We've got this one here that seems to deal with SEO specifically for videos. So adding transcripts and tags to get your videos to appear higher on the search engine results pages. We've got SEO for apps. We've got SEO for e-commerce. We've got local SEO. We've got SEO foundations, 3.5 hours long. Tons and tons and tons of things that you can learn about SEO here. So lynda.com, or now LinkedIn Learning, is an excellent place to come for that as well. But there is one library of e-learning and tutorials that you can go to that is bigger than any of these, and it's absolutely free. Let's come over here back to our list and let's look at one that we skipped a little bit earlier that I wanted to have another closer look at, and that's video editing. Video editing is huge. Video editing is everything now. Every company, every business needs video marketing, video content. It's just one of those trends that you have to be on, and they are willing to spend big bucks on video content. So let's go over to that place that I mentioned where you can learn a million different things for free and even has bigger libraries than most of the e-campuses that we just looked at. YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube. And for video content, the big go-to application would be Adobe Premiere. After Effects as well, but especially Adobe Premiere. And as you can see, there are people who are so passionate about their skills on Adobe Premiere that they create curriculums that are even bigger and longer than some of those other sites that we looked at. And they're totally free. They just do it because they love it. And oftentimes you'll find maybe the tutorials are even higher quality because they're not being done for profit. They're done by people who literally love what they're doing and love to teach what they're doing. So YouTube is an excellent source. It's a good first stop to look and see if you can find tutorials there to learn how to gain a certain skill before you go and spend money somewhere else. All these other sites are great, by the way. All right, all the sites we've looked at, Skillshare, Envato, Udacity, Udemy, Lynda or LinkedIn Learning. These are all great sites. But stop by YouTube first. As you can see, Jack Cole here is teaching everything about Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a 5-hour course. All right, we've got some more basic intro stuff here, 20, 30 minutes, and so on. We got another guy here, Adobe Premiere, the world's most advanced video editing tutorial. It's over 4 hours. 1 hour here. I mean, this is really serious stuff. Here's a whole playlist of videos. So YouTube is an excellent source for learning how you can do just about anything, and you really, truly can do just about anything. If you scroll through this list here from this Forbes article, there are without question going to be at least a half a dozen things that you could do, maybe not that you want to do, but that you could do, and another dozen things that you could easily learn how to do and monetize. All you need is the skills, and you need the actual tools and resources for fulfilling those services. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next lesson.
Hey folks, welcome to Module 2. In this module, our expert will cover acquiring tools and assets. So get ready to take some notes and let's jump right in.
So in the last lesson, we covered acquiring skills or identifying skills that you already have that can be useful for freelance services. All you need now is tools, assets, and resources to actually start delivering those services. That's what we're going to cover right now, and we're going to start with what is probably the biggest collection of tools that there is. And I'd say it's also the most popular one out there. It's Adobe Creative Cloud. Now, Adobe used to be a collection of different software tools that you would have to buy separately, and they were pretty expensive. Recently, they created something called CC, or Creative Cloud, which actually bundles everything together at a very surprisingly affordable rate. It includes everything you could possibly need for creative freelancing. For video stuff, you've got several tools here. You've got Adobe Premiere Pro, which is your basic editor that does most of what most people need. After Effects for creating cool visual and special effects and motion graphics. You've got Adobe Audition for audio. You've got Adobe Spark, Character Animator, Premiere Rush. A lot of these are very specialized tools. You get access to all of them with Adobe CC. Next, in the graphics design area, we've got Photoshop, which is probably the most basic. It's the staple of graphics design. You've got Adobe Illustrator, Adobe InDesign, as well as a whole bunch of other very specialized tools. We've got some more stuff for photo here, including Lightroom. We've got some tools for creating or designing web pages, as well as user interfaces for apps and softwares, that sort of thing. And that's covered by Adobe XD, Dreamweaver, and Adobe Spark. And finally, there's some additional resources such as Adobe Stock Photos, Adobe Fonts, Adobe Portfolio, and Behance are great for showcasing and showing your potential clients the type of work that you've done. All of this is gathered together in one collection, which is pretty affordable. Let's go to Choose a Plan. And you can either choose a single app for $20 a month, or, this seems to make a little bit more sense, choose all of the apps for just $50 a month. You've also got the option of tacking on Adobe stock so that you have a resource of stock photos and stock footage to tap into as well. Next one to talk about is Powtoon. Now, Powtoon is great for creating basic animated explainer videos. As you can see here, we've got some demos of the various effects you can add. If it's mostly text-based, or if it's an actual all-out animated cartoon video with characters and stuff, you can do most of that stuff here inside of Powtoon. It's also pretty handy as a tool for creating presentations as an alternative to Microsoft PowerPoint. And it's not super expensive either when you consider it's not terribly expensive either when you consider what's included. Pricing ranges from $16 a month to $99 a month, and you can do a whole lot with it. There's also a free trial that you can utilize to see if it's actually something that you'd want to use, and I'd encourage you to do so if you're thinking of offering explainer videos or presentations as part of your suite of freelance offerings. And along the same lines, there's Vyond, which used to be called Go Animate. This is a bit of a more complex piece of animated video software. You can do more special things. You can really get in depth. You can make the characters' lips move. You can actually make the characters go through various sequences of animations on page and move their arms and stuff, which isn't actually possible with Powtoon. Powtoon, basically, you have specific animations that repeat themselves over and over and over again. But if you're trying to get really in depth and you want to create complex cartoons, this one, Go Animate, now called Vyond, is probably your best bet. However, you want to make sure that there's really a demand for that it's actually something you're going to be utilizing before you invest, because it is a little bit more expensive. Premium at $89 a month and $159 per month for professional. Now, another tool to talk about really quickly would be myecovermaker.com, or many of the tools that are out there that are just like it. If you're trying to get into graphics, marketing graphics, but you don't want to get into having to learn Photoshop and InDesign and all of that good stuff, this is a pretty easy to use software. It's only $14 per month, and it's very popular, or useful, I should say, in a niche that is exploding, and that is self-publishing authors. Self-publishing authors are constantly going on sites like Fiverr.com or Upwork, seeing if anybody can create a good-looking book cover for them. Also, marketers with digital products who like to create tangible-looking images, mock-ups of their product, so DVD cases, CD cases, ebooks, that kind of stuff. You've probably seen it a million times. This would be a neat, easy to use, and pretty quick to use tool to have in your arsenal, and like I said, it's dirt cheap, just $14 a month. Now let's move on to something like social media management or social media marketing. If you want to offer that service to clients, and every business needs that service, Hootsuite is probably the coolest tool out there for social media managing. You can send multiple posts to multiple different social networks and social platforms. You can post to Facebook and Twitter, post to Instagram, all from one location. You can schedule them, you can manage it all, and you can see all of the metrics about how people are engaging with your posts and so on and so forth. And you can also use it to curate interesting content, to share, to add to your social media content. Arguably the most no-brainer tool out there for social media marketing and social media managing. The business side of things, if you're getting really big and you've got a whole lot of social profiles to run, can get pretty expensive. But if you're just starting out and you're offering freelance services to one or two clients, you can actually get this at a pretty affordable rate. There are competitors. There are other services out there that do basically what Hootsuite does, so you can research those and compare pricing, but you're going to need something like this at least if you're going to be offering social media management services. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is resources. We're going to be leaning heavily on Envato here. Now, if you remember, Envato had a tutorials e-campus where you could learn about how to offer all sorts of freelance services and how to do graphics design and stuff. But what they started out as was an actual marketplace for creative products. So you can come here to Envato and click on audio, and all of these are sub-sites, sub-marketplaces. In this case, this is called Audio Jungle. And Audio Jungle includes it's an enormous library of sound effects, background music, logo intro music, and music tracks, those really epic ones that you hear in sales videos sometimes. They've got all sorts of genres here. And a good background music track can really, really make a sales video happen, can really, play on people's emotions and make the delivery of a message much more effective. So it's definitely worthwhile going through, especially if you're making sales videos or doing anything with audio, going through the library here and seeing if there's anything that you could make use of. Next, we've got their next site is videohive.net, and this is just an incredible library of stock video footage. Now, there is some pricey stuff here where you'll pay roughly what you would expect to pay from most video footage sites or stock photo sites that also carry video. So you'll see some things in the 100 plus range, but most of them are under $100. In fact, the vast majority are under $50. You can even get some basic stuff for 10 or 20 bucks, okay? And this is great for adding a little bit of flair to your sales videos. If you don't want it to be just all text or you don't want it to just be all talking head, you can throw stock footage that has to do with what you're creating on there. And if you have a portfolio of videos that include stock footage like this with cool background music like we just saw on Audio Jungle, and that's in your portfolio and you're going to show that to potential video clients, just by having these types of things in your video, you're going to make yourself much more attractive as a video producer or a video freelancer. Then on the graphic side of things, we've got what's called Graphic River, which is Envato's graphics sub-marketplace. And in this case, you've got a ton of stuff. You've got things for setting up a PowerPoint presentation. You've got the little icons that you see on websites or in mobile apps sometimes, usually bundled together. You've got illustrations. You've got things that you can use as templates for brochures, for book covers. You've got all sorts of really, really great stuff here. If you want basic graphics for web design, to make your website look cooler, come here, spend some time shopping around, and you'll find plenty of stuff. And as you can see, it's very, very affordable compared to most sites, with most things seeming to range from $5 to $20. Very, very affordable, very useful. The next thing would be photodune.net, which is their stock photo library, and same story here. Ton of great photos to use here for videos, for websites, for e-covers, for blog posts, for social media, all sorts of great stuff here. And these are really high quality. It's a very, very large library. I will say, if you decided to go all in with Adobe Creative Cloud, or if you have Adobe stock, you can save some money by doing your business over there for photos, because the photos there cost, $1 or $2 based on the monthly fee that you pay and the amount of credits that you're allowed to use. So in the end, you end up paying a lot less. However, if you're not using photos as much and you don't want to pay monthly for Adobe stock, the next best place to come would be here to Photodune, because the prices are so low and the quality is pretty darn high. Then you've got software. Now this is called Code Canyon. This is where you'll find apps and scripts and plugins for WordPress, for example. You'll find mobile app templates. You'll find mobile games that you can take and, edit them and adapt them. You can do all sorts of very, very cool stuff here, and you can even reach out in some cases to the actual developers of the apps to see if they'll do some freelance work for you and create something for you. This is very useful if you're creating something for someone, but you want a base to start with. So if you want to start with a mobile game, the base of a mobile game, for example, Flappy Bird, I think, was the name of a very popular game way back in the day, and a bunch of other people started wanting to create their own version of Flappy Bird, so they would hire freelancers. Well, as a freelancer, you wouldn't have to create it from scratch. You could come here and grab a base version of that type of a game, and then you could adapt it for that client and give it to that client. Obviously, you want to make sure that you read the license attached to the product and make sure that you're using it in a way that the vendor or creator of the product is okay with, but lots of great resources here in the code, programming, and script department. And finally, let's head over to Theme Forest. Theme Forest is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to find a ton of WordPress themes. You can also find a bunch of other templates. You can find things for e-commerce, CMS themes. You can find templates for websites that are not necessarily on WordPress as well. UI design stuff, CMSs, ton of stuff here to make use of if you're going to be doing some web design or web development. So that's pretty much it for this module. This has just been an overview of all the resources out there, and I wanted to drive home the point that if you have a skill that you've acquired or a skill that you already have and you're ready to use, there are a ton of great tools and resources for you to use to deliver those. Now the question is, where do you offer those skills and how do you get hired? That's what we're going to cover in the next module.
All right, welcome to Module 3. In this module, our expert will teach you about using sites like Upwork and Fiverr to offer services. So get ready to take some notes and let's jump right in.
All right, so now that we've got our skill, we've decided what we're going to offer, and we've got our tools and our assets and our resources, it's time to actually offer our services. And there's two great ways to do that. One is a micro gig marketplace called Fiverr, and another is an actual freelance recruiting site called Upwork. The way Fiverr primarily operates is you put your stuff out there and the clients come to you. They see what you have to offer and then they choose whether or not to do business with you. The way Upwork works is sort of the opposite. The clients come to Upwork, they post a job with a description and requirements, and then you apply to those jobs. Getting started is pretty easy. The first thing we're going to do is come into Fiverr, into our seller's dashboard, and click on gigs. That brings us to this page. We're going to come over here to create a new gig. Now, I've cheated a little bit and already filled some of this in to save some time. Let's have a look at what we're filling in. Gig title. Now, this is particularly important because Fiverr is a search engine. People come to it and they type in the search bar what they're looking for, and hopefully your gig pops up somewhere high up in the results. So you want to make sure that your name is super optimized. You can also add a specific SEO title so that search engines outside of Fiverr, such as Google or Yahoo or Bing, can actually find your gig out there when people are searching the World Wide Web. Now, there is a character limit that's a little bit smaller for your SEO title, but we can just remove a few words and we're good to go. Our main words, animated explainer video, are included in there. Our main title that's going to be visible inside of Fiverr is I will create, and I will is default, by the way. It has to be an I will statement. So this is the portion that you're able to edit. I will create the best animated explainer video for your business. Now we're sort of covering a few different bases here. Best is a superlative. That'll stand out when people are looking at it. Animated and explainer are two different things that people might choose. Some people might look for an animated video for their business, but not know to use the word explainer because they're not familiar with that concept or phenomenon. So we're covering our bases here. And of course, we've got the word business because we're looking for businesses. Next, category. We've chosen video animation for this one. And our subcategory is going to be, as recommended right there at the top, whiteboard and animated explainers. Next, animation type is going to be a 2D animation. File format could be anything. We're just going to stick with MP4 so that people know what they're getting. Sometimes you'll get special requests. If you can offer anything at all, then go ahead and check them all. Next, search tags. This is super important. This is yet another thing that's going to make your gig rank higher on Fiverr when people search for what you're offering. So our keywords: animation, explainer, animated video, sales video, cartoon, and you're only allowed up to 5, so make sure that you choose yours very carefully. Next, let's go on to save and continue, and that'll bring us to scope and pricing. Now, when you get a little more advanced, you can actually add 3 different types of packages here, tiered sort of, and each one is more expensive than the first, and they obviously offer different things. So you could offer 4-day delivery for this one, and then the next step up could be 2-day delivery. Or you could have 3-minute videos for this one, and the next step up would be a 5-minute video, and then a 10-minute video, that sort of thing. So you offer more, and you charge more. In this case, we're going to keep it pretty basic here, and we're going to stick with just one package. We're going to call it standard, because you have to give each package a name. This is our little description: a full HD animated video up to 3 minutes, 4-day delivery, 1 revision if they want something changed. Voiceover recording included. Runtime in seconds, we'll go ahead and spell that out to 180. And we're not going to include any of these here. We are, however, going to include them down here in gig extras. We'll get to that in a second. So these are all the things that you could offer them. Words included. Now you could offer something specific here, but since we're already putting a time table, a time limit on the video, we don't really need to add that. Price, $10 for the basic package. Now, if people want to add additional things, for example, they want us to write the script for them, or they want extra fast delivery, or they want background music, we can offer all those. So in this case, extra fast delivery, I'll deliver it in 2 days for $10. Script writing, I'll write your script for $10. I'll put background music into your video for $10. And you can add as many gig extras as you want. Let's hit save and continue. Here we have a description. Now this is critical because Fiverr is a pretty saturated marketplace. It's a happening place. You're going to have a lot of competition, and you need to give your buyers a reason to do business with you instead of someone else. So we've already got some copy in here. I'll create the absolute best animated explainer video for your business. If you believe in what you're offering, go ahead and use superlatives. Go ahead and use the word best. There's nothing wrong with that. Video marketing is an absolute must-have today, so we're selling them on the need. I'm going to create an attention-grabbing, entertaining video that gets your customers excited about buying your products or services. That's the benefit, right? All I need is a script, as well as a brief description of what you want the video to look like. Videos will be about 3 minutes in length. Now, if you were actually offering this gig, you would have much more information of what you need and what it's going to be like. So you would flesh this out quite a bit more. As you can see, you can have up to 1,200 characters. We're just sticking with this for the sake of this example. Frequently asked questions. You could stick that in here. For example, do you speak other languages in the video? And you can put no, English only, or yes, English and German, whatever you want to put there. So whatever makes the buying experience better for them, keeps your buyers more informed before they even hit the buy button, and keeps questions down on your end. You can go ahead and stick here in frequently asked questions and make good use of your description real estate here. Let's go ahead and hit save and continue. Then we've got tell the buyer what you need to get started. This is where after they've purchased, they send you some information. For us, we've just got one. It says, please paste your script here. Let's go ahead and hit update to keep that. And we're going to come over here and we're going to say, let's say maybe brief description of your desired video. Right? You'd probably flesh it out a little bit more. I'm just moving this along for the example. So this is, once again, what they need to submit to you in order to get the actual order started. And that's when the clock starts on your order. Hit save and continue. Next, we've got a video. Now, it's pretty important to have a video. It's not mandatory, but as you can say right here, it says videos increase user engagement by 40%. You really want videos in your gig gallery explaining to people why they should buy from you. If you don't have a video and it's just a photo, then you're not going to get as many hits. You're not going to get as many people ordering from you. So whether it's you on screen talking, saying, hi, welcome to my gig, this is what I offer, or whether it's just an example or a sample video of the types of videos that you build for people, you got to stick something here. So we're going to click browse. We're just going to grab any random video for our purposes here. And photos as well can be helpful. Now you can put photos, obviously, of things that are relevant to your gig. For example, if you're a graphics designer, you can put images that you've done in the past. Or what some people do is they actually draw out tables with information about the gigs. Okay, and choices that they have and that sort of stuff, or special sales or special deals, something along those lines. You can make those into a JPEG image, upload those here in your photos. Just take as much advantage of these possibilities, the video and the photos, as you possibly can to get as much business as you can. Let's save and continue. And that's it. We're done with the process. We'll hit publish. The video that you submitted will have to be reviewed a little bit before it's approved. Your gig will go live. And finally, people will start coming across it in the search results when they look for your gig. And Fiverr is pretty good about not just letting the people who have been here for years and years dominate the top of the search hits. They're pretty good about filtering newbies in as well and giving them a fighting chance so that every once in a while, new gigs with no reviews and no orders or purchase history will float to the top. So you do have a chance of doing that. However, the best possible way to get business directly is to go out there actively and get it on social media. You know, go out there and actively send traffic to the URL of your gig and ask people to do business with you. That's the best way to get through the door. And to set your prices to rock bottom at first, say $5 for a very, very substantial delivery, send traffic to it, get your friends or other people who you know who have businesses on social media to come here to your gig, buy it for just $5, deliver awesome service. That way at least you get some reviews going and you've got a portfolio in your gallery, right, of jobs that you've done in the past, and that'll help you rise up. And then, of course, you increase your prices once you've got a little bit of a platform to stand on. So that's Fiverr. Pretty simple. You put your stuff out there, the clients come to you and decide after shopping around whether they want to do business with you or someone else. Now let's have a look at Upwork, which is quite the opposite. So here we are on Upwork.com. Now the first step before you go searching for jobs and browsing job posts is to create your profile, which is very similar to filling out a resume, or it can also be compared to filling out your profile on LinkedIn. In fact, it's very similar. You've got a summary statement right here that describes what you are and who you are and what you're good at. Then you create an hourly rate. Then if you have past examples of your work, you put them in your portfolio here. Then, and this is very similar to LinkedIn, you select your skills. And as you type these out, it'll actually populate pre-existing skills that exist in the Upwork database. And you put those here, and those are kind of like skill tags so that you show up higher if people are actively searching for freelancers, okay? Tests. If you have taken any types of tests, for example, if there's specialized tests for your industry or your category of work, for a language test, there might be a D-Lab or something along those lines. If you are a linguist, if you have certifications, employment history, education. So you've seen all this before. We're not going to go through how to fill out a resume or a profile. Let's move on to actually searching for job posts. So let's say, for the sake of our example, this time we're not doing video stuff. We want to be a social media manager. We want to go out and handle posting and content creation and content curation for a business. So we're going to search for social media manager. And what we've got is a bunch of results, people looking for social media management. Pretty straightforward. This one's urgent. Look at that. Here we need somebody who knows how to use Facebook ads. Not really what we're looking for, but social media, of course, pops up as one of the results. Marketing coordinator for marketing strategy and social media. Not the most specific thing that we're looking for. Let's come back up to this top one here, which was, I think, exactly what we're looking for. Senior social media manager or social media strategist. Let's click on this one. Let's click on this one. And that brings up the job details. So let's browse through this and see if it's something that applies to us. So they're looking for a social media manager or social media strategist. They're looking for someone in the United States. They're an established client. They've paid out over $200K on Upwork, so definitely a good client to go after. They're looking for a senior social media manager or strategist. We're going to pretend that we have the experience to be called senior in this case. And they give an example of responsibilities, such as working with senior directors to establish social media marketing goals, help the social media team create high-quality content, approve content, guide and oversee the writing team for creating content, and so on and so forth. They're looking for someone to work 30 hours a week or more. They're looking for someone for the long haul, over 6 months, not just a single delivery of a project, but an actual long-term project here. They're looking for someone who has a mix of experience and value. So they've labeled that as intermediate. Project type, it's ongoing. You'll be asked to answer the following questions when submitting a proposal. Please let us know, if you're a cover letter, why you consider yourself a senior social media manager or strategist. So you're going to have to sell yourself a little bit here. And the single skill and expertise that they've put here as a tag is social media marketing, which is exactly what we're looking for. Preferred applicants, job success at least 90%. This is going to hurt you if you don't have any history on Upwork, so you might have to go after smaller fish first. If you do have that, then you're going to have a higher chance of getting selected by these guys. If you've been labeled by Upwork as a rising talent, you'll have a better chance of getting selected. If you're in Nevada, that's really what they're looking for, so no real chance, if you're not in Nevada, of getting selected for this. So that's an important qualifier right there. Here you can see activity on the job so far. They've gotten 5 proposals, and proposal is just another word for application. It was last viewed by the client 1 day ago. They're interviewing 3 at the time. They've sent out 41 invites proactively to people rather than just passively requiring these, and unanswered invites 34. So 34 out of those 41 have not answered their invites yet. And here's a history of jobs by the client as well as other open jobs by them on the off chance that there's something more relevant to you. For example, let's have a look at this one here. Social media manager, social media assistant. Let's say we don't meet the guidelines for a senior social media manager. We can click on this one, and here's the post for social media assistant. This is something we might be more qualified for. Same people looking for the job, except something that we're a little bit more qualified for, something that's more in our league. If you decide that you are a good match for a job and you want to apply, you click submit a proposal, which again is just a fancy word for apply. Click on submit a proposal and scroll on down here. You can once again review the summary of what they're looking for with all the information such as hours per week, etc., etc. And then you set your terms, hourly rate, 20% Upwork service fee. You'll receive the difference between that. So Upwork basically takes 20% of whatever is paid to you by the client. So this is where you set what you're requesting. If you have a whole lot of clout, it might be okay to haggle a little bit. If they've said they only want to pay somebody $40 a month and you want to haggle with $50 a month, you're certainly able to do that theoretically. But if you really want to get the job, it might be a good idea, especially if you don't have a lot of clout or experience behind you, to just go with exactly what they were indicating that they wanted to pay. Additional details here. This is where you want to fill out a cover letter explaining why you should get the job. This is where you sell them, okay? I've been a social media manager for X number of years, or I love social media. I'm very up to date on the latest tech. I have a great command of Hootsuite, and I can publish content and curate content from within there. This is you selling yourself. And then down here, it looks like in this case, do you fulfill the requirements in the job post? They just want a simple yes or no to make sure that they're not getting silly applications from people who didn't take the time to read their application. For example, it did say Nevada, and if we don't live in Nevada, we probably want to put a no here, in which case we should probably just not be applying to begin with, okay? Because they'll just think you're wasting their time. If you have anything else, such as a professional resume, PDF, or other things that you'd like them to see, you can always upload those here, submit proposal, and then you're going to be eventually interviewed by them if they look over your profile, look over your cover letter, and decide you're a good fit for a potential interview. So that's pretty much it, guys. Fiverr is where you post your gigs, the freelance work that you're willing to do, and people come to you and shop around and decide whether or not they want to do business with you or someone else. Upwork is where primarily the people looking for freelancers post their job, and you go to them and you decide after shopping around which one's a good fit for you. You submit some applications and hopefully get an interview. So two totally different ways of finding freelance work, and ideally, you'd be doing both of those if you want to have a higher chance of finding clients. But as you can see, this whole scheme over the last 3 videos that we've gone over, this is not an impossible task. You really can start a business as a freelancer. You really can generate revenue right now providing freelance services for people. Number 1, what do you want to do? What are you good at? What can you learn to do? And where can you learn to do it? Number 2, what tools, resources, assets do you need in order to fulfill jobs? And number 3, where do you go to get found, and what are the best practices for getting found by clients? So if you're ready to make some money with freelancing, go out there, figure out what job you want to perform, what service you want to provide to the world. Go get the resources you need, get the training you need, get the assets you need, and the tools and the softwares. Then come to Fiverr, come to Upwork, roll up your sleeves, and start freelancing.